This video will help you to better understand what is type 2 diabetes. There are a lot of misconceptions about this disease. It is important to look at it from another perspective so that we could prevent and better manage this chronic health condition. I will give you a simple explanation of what is type 2 diabetes, what causes it, and why did type 2 diabetes cases quadruple worldwide in the past 40 years. So make sure you watch this video until the end to not miss anything out. As someone who studied public health and nutrition, I can tell you that our current understanding of type 2 diabetes is flawed. We focus on the wrong things. We fail to identify the true cause of type 2 diabetes. We give wrong advice to people with type 2 diabetes, and we see cases rising. After being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, you would be put on diabetes medication and instructed to base your diet on high carbohydrate foods, the same foods that raise your blood glucose and insulin the most. So, in some cases, your doctor or nutritionist might advise you to continue eating whatever you want and taking your diabetes medication to lower your blood glucose. In some other cases, you will be told to try to eat more fruits and whole grains and less refined carbs. But is it sufficient for putting your type 2 diabetes into remission? The data shows no. Eating lower GI carbs, together with diabetic medication, can help you to reduce your blood glucose spikes by a few points, but it is not sufficient to reverse your type 2 diabetes. Wait a second, reverse. Type 2 diabetes is a condition primarily created by our poor eating habits. Changing our eating habits alone is sufficient to reverse type 2 diabetes, and no one wants you to know about this. As much as we would want to eat these high-carb foods and be okay, it simply doesn't work. Carbs break down into glucose. The more carbs we eat, the more glucose we have in our system, and it is not true that we don't have enough insulin to take care of that glucose, to take it from the bloodstream and bring it to the cells, where it can be used as energy. We have way too much insulin. With type 2 diabetes, you have too much glucose and too much insulin, and your body becomes resistant to insulin and doesn't allow to bring these high levels of glucose into the cells anymore. Insulin resistance is our body's defense mechanism against toxic levels of glucose flooding the cells. Have you heard of the term glucose toxicity? It's a state where we have more glucose than our bodies need, which is around 1 teaspoon of glucose in the whole blood at a given time. It is equivalent to around 100 milligrams per deciliter blood glucose concentration. It doesn't matter if we have type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, pre-diabetes, or if we are non-diabetic. Elevated glucose or hyperglycemia harms everyone. Each time you eat a sandwich or a serving of rice, a bowl of breakfast cereal, or drink a can of Coke, you exceed safe glucose levels. You become more insulin resistant and increase your risk of type 2 diabetes. And I believe it's important to talk about this. We live in a world where eating a lot of carbohydrates is normal. It was not that normal around 40 years ago. According to the World Health Organization, the number of people with diabetes increased from 108 million in 1980s to 422 million in 2014. Type 2 diabetes cases have quadrupled since 1980s. What did we do? Can this increase in type 2 diabetes cases be explained by diabetes genes? Well, not really. Our genes remain unchanged for many more years. So what changed then? In 1980s, the first low-fat, high-carb dietary guidelines were released. Our diet went from more fat to less fat, from animal fat to plant fat, and we replaced some of that fat with high-carbohydrate foods. Replacing animal fat with high-carbohydrate foods, high in sugar and starch, and vegetable oils was a big mistake that resulted in type 2 diabetes and obesity epidemics. The food manufacturing companies needed cheap, long-lasting products. They replaced natural whole food ingredients with things like grains, sugar, high-fructose corn syrup, soy, and vegetable oils. And it surely has increased their profits. One thing that they didn't expect it to increase is type 2 diabetes, obesity, cancer, heart disease, and dementia cases. Type 2 diabetes is a condition where you have elevated blood glucose and insulin. From all food sources, high carbohydrate foods elevate blood glucose and insulin the most. In addition, eating high carbohydrate foods causes energy crashes that result in more hunger and frequent eating. Frequent eating causes elevated insulin. This is another mechanism how carbs cause insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. We should see type 2 diabetes as carbohydrate intolerance, and we should stop recommending type 2 diabetics to eat more carbs. We should stop using bread, rice, pasta, and potatoes as our staple foods and switch to foods that don't cause us harm. To prevent type 2 diabetes, we should base our diets on non-starchy vegetables, healthy fat, and protein. Foods like grass-fed meat, wild fish, organic eggs, nuts, seeds, berries, lemons, peppers, celery, extra virgin coconut oil, and grass-fed butter. When we eat these foods instead of pasta, bread, rice, potatoes, and sugar, we are able to prevent type 2 diabetes and even reverse type 2 diabetes. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I create educational content about type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, weight loss, and healthy keto. So if you enjoyed this video, check out some of these. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.